Johnson heads to the bucket. Layup. Johnson, good!
All right, welcome everybody back to Talking Sports with me, Chris Powers. Got Marty in the house, got Jonathan in the house, ready to talk sports. We've got lots to talk about today, including my New Orleans Saints. We'll do that coming up, and I'll tell you, if they make one move, it won't be my New Orleans Saints anymore. We'll talk about that coming up later on. Talk about LSU baseball, Southern baseball, in the thick of things, as we're now halfway through the conference season. Okay, we'll talk about that coming up here in just a moment, but we start off with Kyron Lacey. All of us know by now what happened. We're very sad about that. Obviously, it seemed like yesterday we were celebrating with the big championship, the touchdown against Ole Miss in overtime that won the game for the LSU Tigers. That was unbelievable. Or just his senior day, his mom and dad giving him a hug, his dad with his jersey on and what have you. And, just sad to see that. My thoughts and prayers go to all of the family. I couldn't tell you what I'd be going through if that was my son. And, I had to face that when he was a Marine because of the fact that Marines the suicide rate is very high, highest in any branch. And one of his buddies, in fact, two guys he knew, one did suicide, another one contemplated suicide, more than contemplated, kind of tried to carry it out, but they saved him. But it's just sad when that happens. But police say from Houston, Texas, he got in an argument with a family member. We now know it was his sister. And he shot a gun in the ground. Why would you have a gun in the first place? And why would you get so mad at your sister where you shoot a gun at the ground? He then stole her car and took off down the road and began to be a high-speed police chase in Houston. And they said that he took his own life before the car came to a rest, and that's why the car crashed. And they didn't even know he did that. They got to the car, and he had already taken his life. He was 24 years old. Just sad to see that. And look, a lot of us are like that, and we are like that. We judge someone before they're proven guilty. His lawyer said they're going to show, and they're still going to show, regardless of what happened to Lacey, that Lacey was not in the wrong. He says that Lacey did cross that line and came back. The car behind Lacey was following him, and that was the vehicle that forced the accident. There's no cameras or anything on that highway, so we can't do it. So when he did that, it was Saturday night, early Sunday morning. It was really early Sunday morning when he did that. He was supposed to be in Lafourche Parish the next day with the grand jury, and that's what happened in Houston. Sad to see that. He was sixth on the wide receiver draft board by a lot of, including Mel Kiper, a lot of draft boards, but because of the incident in Lafourche Parish towards the end when they looked like that he might be found guilty and would maybe spend some time in jail or something of that nature, like they took him off the draft board. He wouldn't on a lot of people's radar right now. And that's where that and a couple of other things, and just he had a, unsettled life, and you hate for that. It's sad. And Jonathan, that kid, had a lot of chance to be a good football player in the National Football League. And people say great guy, just had some things where he thought wrong, stuff like that.
Yeah, Chris, it's truly heartbreaking. I do a lot of coaching with the youth, and you see a lot of kids that have a lot of trouble controlling their emotions. And unfortunately, we think as kids grow up, they just become adults and learn how to deal with their emotions. And unfortunately, there's a lot of kids out there that are really struggling. And there's a 988 helpline out there. If you're having problems, please go visit 988life.org and get some help. I mean, there's help out there if you're feeling like you need to talk to somebody, if you have trouble controlling your emotions, controlling yourself, controlling your anger. I mean, please get yourself some help. It's such a tragic story. And yeah, say a prayer for his family. I mean, please, God, give them comfort. How do you go from losing a D1 star of a child than to go through a little trial, have a mistake? I mean, it's a 24-year-old kid. Yeah, it's tragic for a loss of life for both. The veteran that got killed in the car wreck, and now to lose Kyron Lacey. I mean, he had his whole life in front of him. Yeah, people make mistakes, people get in trouble, but you learn to deal with that. But unfortunately, there will be no comeback story because of the parent suicide, and it truly is tragic. Outside of football, outside of the athlete, I mean, that's somebody's child, brother, cousin. It's just a tragic loss of life. that was so unnecessary. And it really is sad that athletes, I mean, we put them on a pedestal. We think because they're good at sports, they're somehow this elevated status of human. But everybody's struggling with their own cross to bear. And obviously his emotions got the best of him more than on one occasion. And unfortunate for him and for his family, it was the turn of events that three wrong decisions in a row, and all of a sudden you're in a high-speed chase with the police. You don't see a way out, and there's a gun involved. So tragic all the way around. LSU family certainly mourns the loss of Kyan Racy, and rest in peace. Gone too soon.
Yep, 988 is the number to call for suicide prevention. 988, and just if you feel that you are contemplating suicide or you know someone who is as well, call that number. They've got counselors on 24/7, 988, all over the nation, by the way, not just here in Louisiana, but it's all over the nation at 988. Do that today and definitely prevent that from happening. Again, all my thoughts, I cannot imagine what the father and the mother are going through, all the family of Kyan Racy is going through right now. I really can't. That's just, my heart does break for them. It really does, period, because it's not their fault. They did everything they could as parents, and they're two, mother and father there just a few months ago were like I said, at senior day for that guy. Proud of him. All right, LSU football spring, did their spring game. A lot of people are getting away from the spring game. May come back to it, though. We'll tell you about that in a moment, but right now they're getting a lot away from the spring game. This was a practice-style situation with the LSU spring. They didn't do a game but they just more of a practice. Kelly said he gave them a chance to add work on special teams that normally don't do, so this was big for him to be able to do this in this kind of controlled atmosphere instead of just playing for a game and doing the stats and all that kind of good stuff. This was better. A lot of teams are going to that. I think it was Texas or USC was the first to come out with that, and other teams began to follow, and it looks like a lot of other people are doing the same thing. Also, Kelly said it gives them good film on the player and not to worry about depth yet. So every spring practice like that. A lot of people, I asked Coach Graves that from Southern University, are you getting the two deep chart down during these spring practices? He said, no, it's not more of that. That'll happen in the summer drills. This is more of, let's see how they play, how they practice. I'm going to put this guy at ones with the left tackle, and then I'll put this guy who may be second at left tackle to see how he's doing, and we'll see, and then we'll watch game film all throughout from the spring all the way to the summer. We'll watch game film with the practices that we've done, and we'll be able to determine at that point who we feel is ahead in the situation. So that's what it's mainly like that. You don't get two deep charts when it comes down to spring games. You get more of how you're going to perform. And Kelly said he made it to where the locker room was like a game day experience. That locker room was a game day experience. So that's how they get that. That'll come later on with the two deep chart. Also, Caden Durham, a lot of people wanted to know about him. Ankle sprain, but he's not serious. He should be back this week practicing with the team and doing all kind of activities and what have you, so he'll be okay. Obviously, he's going to be a big part of the running game for Southern University, for LSU. He loves the maturity of the edge rushers. Of course, they're all transfers in. He talked about that, too, and that's important, too. And notice that football has changed. It used to be linebackers. Remember Ricky Jackson and Pat Swilling were linebackers, but they were on the edge. They were edge rushers, defensive ends, basically. Now they're called defensive ends, and your linebackers are in the linebacker spot. So it's kind of weird the way that works out like that. Everything is just changing. The Sam linebacker used to be strong side linebacker. The Mike linebacker was the middle linebacker and stuff of that nature. It's just the way they change the terminology and what have you as time goes on. But the edge rushers, defensive ends, look good. The defensive ends look good. He likes the maturity, like I said. Trey'Dez Green, a new example. And Jonathan, I'm loving this new rule. It's coming out this year. Finally, Lane Kiffin. The new rule is that, for example, if you are hurt, so if you're playing and you get hurt, you better stay on the ground. Because if you get up and go down like you're hurt, that's a timeout to your team. Your team gets charged a timeout. That's a new rule coming this year. And thank God they've finally done something on that. The Rules Committee finally done something on that. I like that. And they didn't clarify that. What if you have no timeouts left? Is that a runoff on the time? I'm sure it is. And I like that. Or maybe even a penalty. I like that. So, again, no more going down, Lane Kiffin, and getting an extra timeout. It's about time that something like that happens. I like that big time. Jonathan, I know you got to like that rule too, right?
Oh yeah, but what's the details in the rule? Like how long do you have to play her? Because I'm sure
I
the
know.
Ole Miss Rebels have no problem. Oh, extend the acting, no problem. They enjoy going down and getting that clock to stop. They'll stop it as long as you want them to stop. It's no skin off their back.
Exactly, and I don't know because you can't say, it's hard to say a kid's faking an injury because you don't know. I mean, in football,
in my
anything can
opinion,
happen.
you have to penalize them for plays. So, like, if you go down, you have to sit out for at least 4 plays. If it's 4 plays, you're real careful who's faking that injury.
Yeah, exactly. Or even a quarter. I'd even go as far as a quarter.
There you go.
And that we'll cut that out quick. Offensive line, I don't know. I hope that they've got good guys coming. They're still. When I hear a coach say, we're still moving people around.
Yep.
And we don't know until 8 or 9 practices in the summer who's going to be your starting left tackle, your left guard, your center, your right guard. Well, we know who the center's going to be, but all that we don't know yet. And when you hear that, you better have some good players that'll be able to fill in and do a good job and what have you, because the 2-deep chart may not be until the week of the season or 2 weeks before the season starts, man. That's crazy. Harlem Berry, best running back in the nation here from Louisiana and the nation, by the way. Coach talked about him. He has natural instincts, and I love that. What it means by that is, say, for instance, if he's running the football and your play is to go through the 2-hole, all right, he's going to go through the 2-hole, but then as you get to the linebacker depth, you see an opening here to the left, and he's supposed to run to the right. Well, he's going to cut to the left like Dalton Hill used to do quick. I called him swivel hips. Just like that. He cuts back to the left, and he's gone for extra yardage. And that's what he's saying. He's got natural ability. Now, what they need to coach him on is what they need to coach Barry on is how to eat. And that's not insulting for some media members. Oh, that's a big headline. Oh, he's got to know how to eat now. No. When you get to that level, you got to know how to eat. And that's what the nutritionists all at LSU will do in that big lunchroom that they have over there and all throughout. They're going to teach them how to eat, what not to eat, what to eat, when to eat this and when to eat that, and stuff of that nature, and that's what happens with that. They got to also teach him blocking schemes, because as a running back, you're not just running the football or going out for passes. You got to be able to block as well, and you got to be able to block big guys, big linebackers, or blitzing cornerbacks. You got to be able to cut him under his feet and not chop block him. So that's important right there, but Harlem Berry, Jonathan, is going to be a huge player for LSU.
Yeah, a little insight on Harlem Berry. Actually went to St. Martin's High School in Metairie, Louisiana. Very familiar with it. Harlem Berry did not play a lot of tackle football growing up. He was a basketball player, so he sees space differently. Is not uncomfortable being around people that are much taller than him, bigger than him. He just sees the field. Yeah, he's got great quickness, real shifty. He's a point guard, basketball, good ankles, and he catches the ball really well. I don't think he's ever going to be the guy to pick up that, Mike blitzing up the middle and knock him to the ground, but he's going to hold his ground. Tough kid. Got into 7-on-7. He's a great athlete. He can run all the routes as running back. Got good hands. Like I said, real shifty, got great speed. And the reason he was voted number 1, because St. Martin's tiny one-hay high school right off of Airline Highway. Those 7-on-7 camps, he's shined. And the guy put him in an elevator, and he's juking people. It doesn't matter if it's close space or not. He squeaks through holes. And like I said, just sees the field differently than most kids. Can see around bigger defenders. Almost like a Drew Brees, knowing where the holes are going to be. Just sees the field differently. Excited to see Harlem Berry in the purple and gold.
Yeah, no question about that. And I'm telling you, all I need you to do is standing in his way for like a second. Give me 1 second. Just disrupt his rushing. Like you said, the Mike linebacker coming straight up the middle. Just disrupt him, and you'll be good to go. Kelly said that number 1 transfer portal class, returning players make the roster great. But what he says is, and he's still a guy, the old-fashioned guy, he believes in building a roster, first of all. And I agree with that, because that brings longevity. When you bring, like, if you get a freshman and that freshman's getting playing time, there's nothing like playing time that's going to get you going. Practice time, I hate to say be Allen Iverson, but practice, y'all, playing in a game type situation is huge. It makes you grow by leaps and bounds. And with that being said, when you get that, those players that are coming in, that are coming back now, freshmen, and now are sophomores from freshmen and sophomores to juniors, those guys are returning and they're ready to play. They're ready to play, and they've earned their rights, like our quarterback, of course, Nussmeier. I mean, he stayed there. And Coach talked about him, and that Nussmeier said, as soon as Kelly got there, I'm a Tiger. I want to be a Tiger. I'm not going anywhere, Coach. I'm staying here. and he talked about that as well. But very interesting to see the transfer portal, the number one transfer portal coming in, and now there's no excuses. Kelly's got no excuses. I won't make any excuses for Kelly. This is his year. This is it. I'm not saying he's going to win a national title because national titles have to be perfect. You have to be perfect. Look at Day. He didn't win a national title his first year. I think it took him 6 years. It takes time. Look at Kirby Smart. It takes time to win championships. It took Kirby, I think, 5 years to do it, 5 seasons. So it takes time. So with that being said, I think that now he's got good depth on his team, and now we just got to get those players going in that right direction. Juwan Johnson, by the way, he's the quarterback from Lafayette, was named Mr. Football in 2023. We brought in during some red zone situations, thank God, because LSU and the Saints both have problems in the red zone, and LSU majorly had problems in the red zone. Nussmeier's got to work on that because if you think the red zone's bad in college football, fast in college football, wait till you get to the National Football League. You better learn, you better practice the red zone big time. And that means constantly working. You want to have a good tight end. Like a Green. Green, tight end, wide receiver, you don't know what he's going to be. But when you got a guy that's that big, have him where they get to where they jump and nobody else can grab where the ball is. That's why a lot of basketball players are going into tight end situations because of that. They get where the ball is. But when you got a 5'10" cornerback, Jonathan, that has a vertical leap out of this world, that's tough too. But again, he's going to play. Now, he's going to play quarterback. I'm talking about Juwan Johnson's going to play cornerback. I don't know if he's going to start or not, but he's going to play quarterback for LSU. But in red zone situations, he's going to come in as the quarterback because that's what he was at Lafayette, and that's what he was Mr. Football on. In fact, he has the most passing yardage in all in the state of Louisiana's history. Yeah. So look out for that. I mean, I think Juwan Johnson's going to be huge.
So Juwan Johnson was at LCA. My son was at De La Salle, met in the playoffs, third round. And Juwan Johnson was a real deal in high school. Obvious could hurt you with his feet, but had a great arm. You mentioned the passing record in the state of Louisiana. Good quarterbacks came out of this state. So, that's definitely saying something. I think he went to 4 straight state championships for LCA. So I thought he was good as an athlete. I thought he was recruited as an athlete. I thought that's what he was. But, yeah, going to be a dynamic presence, especially in that red zone. Another guy that's very shifty, can also throw the football. So the game's going to slow down a little bit more for him going into that sophomore year. So I'm excited about that. You mentioned the offensive line. I think that's really the question for LSU. If it is a true deep, this is a very deep group for LSU. A lot of talented big guys, but they're going to shuffle them around and find a home for them because you're replacing so much that went to the NFL. Some of them are getting drafted come a week from Thursday in the first round. So excited for LSU football. Obviously, Nussmeier's going to be a big part of the offense. He's going to be the engine that drives the car. But talented wide receivers. Of course, you bring in the 2 transfers that go into that number 1 transfer portal. But I'll say this about the number 1 transfer portal class. Puts a lot more emphasis, again, on that week 1 matchup against Clemson. Can't go 4 years in a row for Brian Kelly, taking an L, going 0-1 to start the season. Got to get that first one under his belt. It's going to be a huge monkey off his back. I tell you what, if you win the first one against Clemson, you're thinking the playoffs. If you lose, you're thinking, when's Brian Kelly going to get fired? That is what the LSU fan base is ready to do at this point. So got to get it going early, and I think Nussmeier has enough under his belt. He's not going to panic. He's going to be able to get his offense going right from week 1, and we'll see the proper LSU offense.
He's got no more eligibility. This is his pro tryout this whole season. It's pro tryout. And, I was looking at Juwan Johnson. I had to look him up just a second ago while you were talking. 5'11". Yeah, he's 5'11". That's the only problem with him not being a quarterback. He's 5'11".
Yep.
And when they put 5'11" on the roster, usually he's like 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah, 5'11" in cleats when he's standing on concrete. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's his only problem. That's what I hate about that young kid. He's only 5'11" because this guy is flashy, and I can't wait to see him in that red zone situation. Well, and that's another thing, too. You brought up an interesting point, made me think about it. And I've said this before. I know Richard Kahn and I used to be on a show. We've said this before. Why in the world does SEC teams cave in to other conferences and other teams? Meaning that road and home games. Why is always the SEC the first one going out? SEC is the best conference in all of the nation. And I'm so tired of these Clemsons. Well, you come to us first and we'll go to you second.
Yep.
Come on. I'm tired of that crap.
Yep.
You want to, it's just as big for you to play us. And that game should be in Tiger Stadium first. That game should be in Tiger Stadium. But I can't wait for the Clemson fans We played them before. We just beat them a couple of years ago in the 2019 National Championship. It was 2020 when we played them, but it was the season 2019. I can't wait for Clemson to come to LSU and say, you want to see what the real Death Valley is, bro? You want to see what the real Death Valley is? You've got it.
Yeah.
You've got it. It's Tigers. It's not even close. It's not even close. But anyway, I'm so tired of that, the way that Clemson said, oh, you got to come here first. And LSU caves in. Alabama caves in. Everybody, Tennessee caves in. Everybody caves in from the SEC. I wish it would just make it to where, okay. And speaking of that, we talked about everyone getting away from the spring games, but Jonathan, did you hear they may be coming back? And you know what the spring games would be?
What?
Playing other teams. Kelly was asked that this week on that after the game or after the situation on Saturday, and he says he's in for that. And he says he thinks that it's going to happen soon. What he said he would like to do is a spring game with a partner of the state of Louisiana. Could be a USL, more than likely could be a Southern, could be a Thibodeau. I mean, something like that. I don't know. Yeah. That's something that we could see. And with him saying it's getting closer, it could be as early as next year. That we could actually see a spring game with LSU versus Southern or LSU versus ULM or LSU whatever. I don't know if they'd go to that level. Maybe they'd go to Nicholls State or Southeastern or something. Yeah. I don't know, but we'll see with that. Isn't that interesting? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do like the idea of having a partner in state, save money on travel, obviously, for a tune-up game, for a preseason game. I do like the idea because this spring scrimmage, I mean, you could say, it saves on injuries and the fans get the part, and we have good tape on the players. But they had like 30,000 people that used to go to these spring games, and now it's down to like, a couple thousand.
Even the A game, did you see Alabama's crowd was horrible?
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, I understand. I would like the tune-up game. I think it would actually, draw a lot of people if it was an in-state, not to say a rivalry, but kind of like a tune-up, work together LSU and Southern. It's too convenient. They're both in Baton Rouge. Just practice against each other for a day. And, be very controlled, have a scheduled number of plays for offense and defense. Not trying to get anybody hurt, obviously. That's why you kind of canceled the spring game as it was. But got to get some more attention. And I love the idea of LSU and Southern both having like a tune-up scrimmage game against somebody else before they go into this week, especially LSU. Keep on schedule. Like you said, these home and homes where you got to travel. And 3 in a row, not good. Going back to Coach Ocean, it's 5 in a row for LSU, dropping the first one. So got to get a win week one. I do like the idea. And hopefully it does come to be where LSU and Southern can have some type of partnership to where it continue every year, build some type of tradition, and make more money off of it. It'd be great for the city.
Yeah, no question about that. And, because when people talk about, okay, they don't like preseason in NFL. They don't like preseason. And as a fan, yes, you agree with them. But as a coach, no, you don't. You need all 4 preseason games. And why? Because just like I said earlier, a player reacts differently from practice to game time.
Right.
You want to see those players in a game time situation. You need all 4 games, really. But now, there used to be years ago, they wouldn't charge full price for preseason games, and they shouldn't today.
Exactly.
But the coaches do need that preseason game to see those rookies or other guys that are trying out for this team.
Yep.
Because practice situation is not the same. You can't hit a quarterback. You can't do anything like that. You can't even get near the quarter. If you do, you're going to be sitting the rest of practice. So, yeah, I would like to see a preseason game in college football. I would. But and I think it needs to go back to 4. But word is Goodell's trying to get rid of the 2 preseason games that they've got, and he wants to go down to 1 maybe preseason game because he wants an 18th game. We talked about that last week as well. If they start going to 18 games and bring the season back another week, that's going to be a problem for New Orleans to get Super Bowls because, it's going to be right smack in the middle of Mardi Gras almost every damn time. So, but anyway, that's a different deal. We talked about that a little bit last week. Speaking of the NFL and the Saints, we'll talk about it, Derek Carr and the Saints. When we come back after this, we're talking sports with me, Chris Powers, right here on Cox Cable. This is Pelican Sports TV.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouget. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouget today.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
If you're a wing lover like me, you already know where the best and biggest wings in Baton Rouge are. TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10. But did you know they also provide some of the best catering in town? Yeah. Their catering packages are custom built for parties and tailgates and overflowing with the tastiest barbecue you can find. Whether you go with the MVP package, the Heisman, or the Natty, you can't go wrong with TJ Ribs because it's not just jumbo wings. They serve up truly tender beef brisket, perfectly roasted pulled pork, and smoky fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Don't forget the savory sausage and chopped beef. Come on down to TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10, proud sponsors of the LSU Tigers and the Southern University Jaguars.
All right, welcome back, everybody, as we continue to talk sports. By the way, just breaking news here just a moment ago. Came out on X just a moment ago, formerly Twitter. Tulane is pulling out of the Nico transfer. We're going to talk about Nico coming up from Tennessee, of course, in just a moment. But they're pulling out of the Nico recruiting sweepstakes. Got something else. Jonathan, I know you're going to laugh at this when I tell you about this coming up in a moment. Let's talk about Derek Carr, though. When did this injury take place? A right shoulder injury. And they're not even coming out and saying it's a right shoulder injury. But like Bobby Hebert said, that if he is contemplating on surgery, it's not your left shoulder. It is your right shoulder, your throwing arm. When did it happen? Now, we may not know all the answers, but I know the Saints know all the answers. And Derek Carr's a good guy. He's not going to hide anything. He's going to tell them. Was it a skiing accident? Was he, when he moved to Fresno, California, did he pull something picking up boxes? What the hell? What happened with this? Did he fall down? Did he get in a car wreck? Nobody knows yet. It's very confidential of what happened. Nobody's saying a damn thing, and the Saints are not answering anything. They're not saying anything. What happened? But this puts them in a very weird situation. And a lot of people, some people are saying, well, he wants out of New Orleans. That's why he's doing that. He restructured his contract. If he didn't want to restructure his contract, if he didn't want to stay in New Orleans, he wouldn't have restructured his contract. It's not that. He's not taking any less money, but he restructured his contract, so it's not that. That's not the case at all. So I do think that this is a legit injury. This happens at a horrible time for New Orleans Saints because all the free agents except for one is gone, and that's free agent that you would think about. It's a 42-year-old quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. And would Aaron Rodgers want to come down to New Orleans? Probably not. He wants to be on a winning a team that wants to can win a Super Bowl this year. And we all know the Saints were in it this year because they restructured some contracts. Instead of going ahead and letting a bunch of people go, they were in it. So this massively hurts the Saints right now. And there's nobody on their roster. I don't care who they get from. They used to be with Dallas, and they worked with him. Nussmeier and them worked with him. There's nobody on the Saints roster out there that can do this. Some fans are saying, what about Kirk Cousins? He's not. The Falcons are not going to trade, and the Saints are not going to trade for Kirk Cousins to come down to New Orleans. Kirk Cousins is not going to happen. You get that out of the way there. And so what do? Some saying maybe you go by the draft. No. First of all, there's no Jaden Daniels on right now on this college scene right now. There's no Jaden Daniels at all. The guy that comes maybe kind of close, not to Jaden Daniels, but close to being, he'll be the number one quarterback gone, is Cam Ward out of Miami. That's going to be that's the best quarterback available to the draft, and he's going to be gone before the Saints draft at number 9. So do the Saints move up the draft to get him? But again, I don't think he's a Jaden Daniels. I don't think you waste draft picks or trades to get that, this year's draft pick and next year's draft pick. I don't think you do that. So right now, I think the Saints are in a very tough situation, and I'm sure they're working with, Derek Carr, Can we rehab it? Are you really sure that this is out, that you won't be able to play this season? We got to see how things go with that. Some people are saying, I think they're backing off a little bit on it, but Shedeur Sanders is a guy that could be going to New Orleans. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I will burn this shirt right now if that's the case. Let me tell you, and Jonathan, I tell you what, since you do so much hard work here and you help me out so much, I'm going to give you a plane ticket, brother. You're going to Boulder, Colorado to be a part of the Shedeur Sanders retirement jersey number.
Yeah, jersey. I heard about
Are
that.
you kidding me?
Yep, him and Travis Hunter. I heard
The
about
guy
that.
is 13-12, didn't win a bowl game.
Yep.
I mean, never won a championship, and there were. That kills me. He thinks it's unbelievable how Deion Sanders thinks just like LeBron James. It's all about LeBron James. It's all about Deion Sanders. It's always been all of his career, and he is going to get this special enshrinement to his son, who has done nothing. I can maybe kind of see Travis Hunter, maybe, for winning the Heisman.
Right.
But Shedeur Sanders, are you kidding me? Yeah. Isn't that crazy? I mean, is that a laughable deal, or, Jonathan, am I just being mean?
No, it would have been. I could kind of understand Travis Hunter, but yeah, to say that Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter maybe put Colorado's program on the map on social media, maybe. Yeah, but like you said, they didn't even compete for their conference championship. So don't get it. But when Coach Prime, he has a lot of pull, especially in college football. Was able to do whatever he wanted at Colorado, and they built him a whole wing for it. So, doesn't surprise me at all. I'm truly shocked that they're not retiring Shiloh Sanders' jersey too. Yeah, his brother.
He wasn't one of his favorites. That's why.
Yeah,
he's not high on the chart as far as he ranks his kids. And you tell me, you act like a man of God. I'm a man of God, but he ranks his kids. Are you kidding me? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't want to be anywhere near that trap door when you go to meet God, when you ever do, brother. Now, again, going by the draft, so we talk about Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
Not good at all. I mean, I think he's a decent quarterback for the college. He's got a decent arm on him. You never know, though, who makes it to the pro level, because you look at Tom Brady, you look at Aaron Rodgers, you look at those guys that didn't do – I mean, they did great in college, but they go nuts in the NFL. So you never know what happens when a player does that. Usually a lot of the times that a college quarterback who doesn't do great, like a Drew Brees, didn't do great in college, and nobody wanted him in college, by the way. Purdue's the one that offered him the scholarship. That doesn't do well, but excels when he gets to the pro level. You just never know when that happens. I don't think Shedeur is going to be that guy. I think he's a head case. I think he'll be a cancer in the locker room. I really do. You can't do and do all that stuff and be a good quarterback. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to happen. Jason Dart, could he be a good quarterback in the National Football League? He came into New Orleans and did some workouts there as well. We all know in the big situations in Ole Miss that he choked. So, Jonathan, I don't know about you, brother.
Yeah.
I don't go – this NFL draft does not have a standout quarterback at all.
Yeah.
Maybe next year, maybe, but not this year.
Yeah, just go piece by piece, Chris. I've defended Derek Carr in a lot of circles. I know a lot of people that were sitting in church when he gave almost an hour testimony about being a man of God and faith and his family and his kids. And my kids played against his kids in baseball and rec ball, and he was a part of the crowd. He's trying to help with the team, and he donated the Halo head protection to East Jefferson High School, which my older son attended. So I had a lot to be thankful for Derek Carr. But on this topic, Chris, me and you, we see it a little differently. I think he restructured because Mickey Loomis gave him a fat signing bonus check, and I think he wanted out of New Orleans. I don't think he fit with the culture. I think that he thought that the people in New Orleans were going to love him because Drew Brees said, if you love New Orleans, they'll love you back. Well, for some reason, it never really worked out with Derek Carr. It wasn't around for Mardi Gras, wasn't around for the Super Bowl, didn't represent at all for the city, for the team, for the organization. Moved to Fresno, took his kids with him. It was just a whole lot going on where if Derek Carr wanted to be the face of this organization for the next 3 years, the Saints would have made it very easy for him to make those appearances in the last 3 or 4 months. And then the timing, like he said, he released on social media that he was in Paris with his family, and he said he couldn't wait to share more. And then all of a sudden, boom, he's got this shoulder injury where it must have came from him counting his money. because don't know what he was doing in the offseason. I don't think he was trying to trick or swindle the Saints, but something isn't adding up. Something does smell fishy with the timing. They wouldn't have brought it up. There wouldn't have been a huge urgency in the draft if it wouldn't be an issue that had to be corrected with surgery. So we look to the draft. I'm with you. I do not think Shedeur Sanders is worth the number 9 overall pick.
No.
If you have him graded as your top quarterback on this draft board, you absolutely trade down as far as you can, get more picks, try to build this roster. The Saints fans have to finally understand that the rebuild is absolutely here. It's not going to be kicking the can down the road, even though that's what the front office looks like with the numbers. This is not that time. The Saints have a very old roster they're trying to hold on just to pass the bridge to the quarterback that they can finally draft under Kellen Moore. It's not going to be in this draft. It's just not going to happen. So you get down to pick 40. You see if you can get Jackson Dart there. If he's already gone, so be it. You roll with Spencer Rattler, in my opinion. Plenty other needs that the Saints have to get moving forward for this rebuild than the quarterback in this draft. Don't press for a quarterback. Just take the best player available. And please, if you think Shedeur Sanders is the number 2 quarterback worthy of the number 9 overall pick in this draft, please just trade it down because you don't deserve the pick.
No, exactly. No question about that. Do you go after Aaron Rodgers?
No, not at all. Aaron Rodgers has zero interest in coming down here to New Orleans to play for the Saints. And uninterested Aaron Rodgers is exactly what you got last year at the beginning of the season for the Jets. A laissez-faire attitude when it comes to workouts, practices, and his decision-making. I mean, he was lofting up balls to Devontae Adams, hoping his friend would come down with it. But not the Aaron Rodgers of old. Obviously, he's gained age. Doesn't always come with wisdom. I know he's big into that ayahuasca stuff, which, hey, to each his own. I'm not here to judge Aaron Rodgers, but no, I do not want him in New Orleans. I don't believe he has any interest in coming down to play for Kellen Moore.
The problem is, and you and I both say they should, rebuild, but they're not thinking that way because they restructured and they kept all those old players. Hardly nobody is gone. So that's what you have to do now. Obviously, what I think they need, number 1 is offensive line. And I think Derek Carr missed 6 games in all of his career at the Raiders. 6 games. Here in New Orleans, he's missed way more than that, and it's simply because since he's been here, they've had the most horrible offensive line in the National Football League. I still think you need offensive line talent. You need wide receiver. I think you need one more good wide receiver at least that could be a deep threat. You need that wide receiver. You need always defensive linemen. You still need those 2 defensive tackles to go in and out. I don't think Sanders is good, but obviously you need people. Defensive tackles are the most out-of-shape players in all of football, in the NFL level, on the college level, but they're big. They're supposed to plug the holes up, okay? They're even – offensive linemen are not as fat as they used to be. They're more muscular, but still – they're still kind of fat. They still got a little belly, but they're not as fat as they used to be. But defensive linemen, they don't care how big they are. They want to plug up those holes to make sure the running back is not going to shoot that A-gap, period. So I think they also need, obviously, still help at cornerback. I say that we need at least one more good cornerback. So offensive line, wide receiver, defensive line, and cornerback is what the 2 or the 4 positions that I think the Saints really need. Also linebacker, too. I forgot that. Linebacker. That's 5 positions. They need another linebacker. Warner is a guy that has a nose for the football, but unfortunately should be in a flower shop because he gets hurt when he brushes his hair. I mean, geez and Pete's, come on, man. Every year that guy gets hurt. I love the guy to death, and when he's playing at the beginning of the season, he leads the team in tackles. But somewhere down the line, every single year, he always gets hurt every damn time. And like I said, I love the way he has the instinct of going where the football is. He's fast, everything of that nature, but constantly he needs to drink some kind of Demario Jones juice, Demario Davis juice, because of the fact that this guy gets hurt every single time.
Yeah, and we'll see who's available in the draft. Obviously, if you're at the number 9 pick and the best cornerback or the second best cornerback in the draft is there. The good thing about this draft is outside of the quarterback, a lot of these positions are very deep. You mentioned the defensive tackle. I think 4 of the top 5 graded guys coming out of college this season, hoping to get drafted in the first 3 rounds, all have NFL starting grades. So very deep at the D-line. I agree. Got to help offensive line. I like the Justin Reed addition at safety, but got to get help at cornerback. Kool-Aid McKinstry and Joseph Yadam going to be the 2 cornerbacks. But, you lose Marshawn to the Washington. Hopefully Redskins again, but right now Commanders. And yeah, so it's going to be a new look for the defense. I agree, need some linebacker help. You let Willie Gay go, you let Will Harris go, two guys who were very productive for your defense last year. Cam Jordan just one more year older. You just re-signed Chase Young to a pretty fat contract. So, defense, there's a bunch of holes you can pick with that number 9, but in my opinion, it's a better idea to trade back down into the first round, if not to the second round. Get as many draft picks as you can for the next couple of years, and give Kellen Moore actually a deck to deal with of young available players all in their rookie contracts.
No question about that. When we come back, we're talking college baseball. LSU Tigers, shocking. They get swept this past weekend. Not one game out of 3. They lost all 3. We'll talk about that when we come back. Talking sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan in the house, Marty in the house, back after this timeout right here on Pelican Sports TV.
If you're a wing lover like me, you already know where the best and biggest wings in Baton Rouge are. TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10. But did you know they also provide some of the best catering in town? Yeah. Their catering packages are custom built for parties and tailgates and overflowing with the tastiest barbecue you can find. Whether you go with the MVP package, the Heisman, or the Natty, you can't go wrong with TJ Ribs because it's not just jumbo wings. They serve up truly tender beef brisket, perfectly roasted pulled pork, and smoky fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Don't forget the savory sausage and chopped beef. Come on down to TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10, proud sponsors of the LSU Tigers and the Southern University Jaguars.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Congratulations to Martin showing me pictures of his daughter getting married. Obviously, she took after her mom. Unbelievable. And I want to see, I want to see Marty. I told him I want to see the picture of Marty walking his daughter down the aisle with his tux on and his baseball hat. Your Southern hat. There you go. Speaking of hats, baseball hats, LSU Tigers swept by the Auburn Tigers this weekend. Past weekend, are you kidding me? 8 runs in 3 games.
Yep.
Not going to get it done. 38 times the Tigers flew out. And remember, we've had that in the past. When they're struggling batting, that means they're not leveling the swinging. They're swinging up. They're swinging for the fences, and they're hitting a lot of fly balls. They had 38 this past weekend. They left 26 on base over the weekend. They had 18 hits in a 3-game series this weekend. 6 on Friday, 8 on Saturday, and a lowly 4 on Sunday. Batters 1, 2, and 3 went 4 for 25 over the weekend. And their big, heavy home run hitter, Jared Jones, went 1 for 13 this weekend. Jonathan striking out 6 times. Are you concerned about LSU?
Well, no, not concerned. That's not the right word to use, Chris. I mean, it's baseball. Sometimes when it rains, it pours, especially offensively. It's all about confidence and timing, and when you're struggling as a team, it's hard to get that confidence going. And Auburn absolutely abused that monster in left field. They hit balls off the fence all series long, and they spread the ball around the park as well. And LSU just couldn't get that key hit, especially with guys on running in score position. As you mentioned, 26 batters left on base. Some with the bases loaded. And I hate to put it on one guy, but that's how much I think of this young ball player. Derek Curiel has done a phenomenal job all year getting on base. He works good at bats each and every time he's at the plate. Just had a very tough weekend. Struggled to get on, struggled to put the ball in play, hit it solid, and not like him at all. And I think he was the catalyst throughout most of this beginning of the season. And when he's struggling, it kind of just rubbed off on the whole team. It wasn't a good, really, spectacular series for starting pitching. Kate Anderson gets his first loss of the year, so tough start. Never really got better. LSU lost, close games except for the first one, but not concerned. Obviously, everybody has a tough weekend. LSU way too talented. We talked about it last week, Chris. Auburn was not a pushover team, even though the SEC record wasn't the best. Still ranked number 11 in the nation for a reason. Very talented. They had some dudes on that roster, and like I said, abused that monster in left field all series. Peppered LSU pitching, which is very talented. So you got to shake it off, put it behind you, and move on. McNeese in midweek game this week. So. It's time to get back on schedule for Jay Johnson and those Tigers.
Hey, relievers look good.
You're right.
Bullpen looked good. They had one earned run in 12 and 2/3 of an inning. That's pretty damn good. I like that big time. Now, here it is, Jonathan. You're smack halfway through right now the SEC.
Yep.
15 games played. You got 15 games left. That's it. 10-5 of the SEC. You're tied for fourth with Georgia. And they're going to play at home finally. Now, a lot of the tough games are going to be now at Alex Box Stadium the rest of the way.
Yep.
Arkansas is coming into LSU later on this season. Tennessee's coming later this month.
Yep.
So a lot of the tough games are going to be at Alex Box Stadium here in Baton Rouge. They play number 21 Alabama and the Crimson Tide this weekend at Alex Box Stadium. They're number 9 in D1, number 7 in the USA Today coaches poll, and number 9 in the ESPN poll. So hopefully LSU will get it. And the only thing I say is this, and I agree with you, they seem to be having problems on the road. They've lost to Texas, obviously 2 out of 3. They've lost to Auburn 3 out of 3. The thing is, you better get this straight. Just like I tell basketball teams, if you are good at home and you're not good on the road, that ain't going to fare well when you get to the NCAA tournament.
Right.
Now, the NCAA tournament, the first round, 2 rounds, obviously, could be at your home at Alex Box Stadium. Now you get to get the point. You better start winning some games so you can make sure you're in that top 8 or top 16 to where you're hosting a regional and hosting a super regional as well. So you want to be able to get that for the rest of the way. That's good. But you've got to be able to play on the road, and you better get that down because last I checked, Omaha, Nebraska is not in Alexandria, Louisiana.
Right.
It's way over there. And so you better get straight down. You've got halfway through the season now, and then you've got the SEC tournament after that. And where I think, again, I'll have to check on that. The tournament has changed now where all the teams are in, and you one elimination loss, 1 game, and you're done if you lose. So I'm going to check on that coming up as we get closer to the tournament and what have you. But LSU, again, swept by Auburn. But a lot of teams got beat this week, including Arkansas. They lose their number 1 spot. Texas is now the new number 1 team. They look right now. And look out because Texas now is beginning to show that their money is beginning to look big now for the SEC, even though they haven't won a championship yet. But now they're competing on just about every level. Their women's basketball team just got a big commit. They went deep into the tournament. Obviously, they went to the Final Four. And then you've got Texas Longhorns baseball team right now, number 1 in the nation. The football team has been to the playoffs now more times than LSU has been. So you have to kind of wonder about that a little bit, but they still haven't won a national title game yet. They've been two years in a row to the playoffs, so you better look out for that. So we'll see how that money is going to help Texas here in the SEC. Hopefully it will not. When we come back, we'll wrap things up. We've got a few things to talk about, including one of the most magical things I've seen. Back in a moment as we continue talking sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan, Marty in the house, back after this on Pelican Sports TV.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton & Fouget. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouché today.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
If you're a wing lover like me, you already know where the best and biggest wings in Baton Rouge are. TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10. But did you know they also provide some of the best catering in town? Yeah. Their catering packages are custom built for parties and tailgates and overflowing with the tastiest barbecue you can find. Whether you go with the MVP package, the Heisman, or the Natty, you can't go wrong with TJ Ribs because it's not just jumbo wings. They serve up truly tender beef brisket, perfectly roasted pulled pork, and smoky fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Don't forget the savory sausage and chopped beef. Come on down to TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10, proud sponsors of the LSU Tigers and the Southern University Jaguars.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Talking sports with me, Chris Powers. Magical moment. I watched the Masters on Sunday. I didn't get to watch it Saturday, or I did watch a little bit on Thursday. Forgot to watch it on Friday. My guy is Phil Mickelson. I'm a Phil Mickelson fan. I play golf like Phil Mickelson. I'm a Phil Mickelson guy. And him and Rory McIlroy do not like each other at all. Rory McIlroy don't even want to talk about Phil Mickelson since he went to live. But Rory McIlroy, one of the greatest events I've seen, wins the Masters. And it was shaky grounds. And when he won, he hit the ground and was bawling. I mean, it was such just a magical moment. And look, Phil Mickelson's not the only one that has a problem with Rory McIlroy. I didn't like Rory McIlroy until last year in New Orleans. I liked him after that. I was pulling for him after that. And so, I mean, Jason Day don't like him. I can go down the list of a couple of a lot of players that don't like him. But now he'll be with Phil Mickelson in the Masters champion locker room. He'll be able to go to the dinner. He gets to pick what dinner is going to be next year. Now, Phil Mickelson can choose his own food if he wants. If he don't want what Rory McIlroy is fixing, then he can go and order from the clubhouse. They do get that option. But anyway, Phil Mickelson did send a tweet out to him telling him congratulations, what a masterful Masters it was. It was an unbelievable Masters, and he congratulated him on a big time and only the sixth player in golf history to win a Grand Slam. Rory McIlroy wins the Masters. I don't know if you got to watch it, Jonathan. And I'll say this. He's off this weekend because he's back in Ireland with his parents and celebrating with his family. He will be in New Orleans next week. He's already said that. He will be in New Orleans next week defending his title with Lowry. So you will see the match. Your crowd's going to be huge in New Orleans next week, Joe.
Yeah, I think to watch a little bit of it Sunday because we lost our pool game on Sunday morning, bracket game, so we were bounced out of that tournament early. Happy for Rory. If you're a fan of Rory or not, it's good for the game of golf when he wins his career Grand Slam. You saw the emotion after. Had his beautiful little girls out there all week. They got a lot of TV time. So happy for McIlroy. Glad he's coming back to New Orleans to play in a tournament. So, yeah, he brought a lot of cameras last time with his viral singing moment when he was drunk on stage. So, yeah, that was classic. Happy he's coming back. Happy for the young man. I never had a problem with Rory. I'm not a really avid follower of golf, but I do enjoy watching it. Follow like the field, not the favorite golfer or anything like that, but it was entertaining. Tough course. Didn't really realize how tough those green were at the Masters, but saw a couple guys hit chips that just kept on rolling all the way to the sand. So Rory ended up in the water on 15 on Saturday. So yeah, it was a great tournament. Of course, nobody does it like the Masters. They have their own language, their own their food, their prices, the whole deal. It's almost like a little cult if you get the chance to go. It's a privilege. So it was cool to watch. Happy for Rory.
Yeah, exactly. NIL, for those of you who wanted it, Kirk Herbstreit, you got it. Lawsuits, again, and Nick Saban talked about this, but I've talked about this even before Nick Saban said it. The problem with the NCAA is lawsuits. There's lawsuits going on all the time. Players that say they didn't get this and didn't get that when they played, so there's lawsuits going on. That's why the NCAA doesn't have hard rules, but they need to be set up like the NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA. If you're going to do this, you got to have boundaries, and they've got to be able to stop that. Good for Tennessee for telling him goodbye, Nico. Bye. Check you later.
Yeah.
He wanted they were willing to give him $2 million. He wanted $4 million. You're not worth $4 million. They did a poll of how good you think Nico was. 8th or 9th best quarterback in the league.
Yep.
You're not worth $4 million.
Middle of the pack at best.
Exactly. I think Congress, somebody needs to step in. Collective bargaining, they said, is close. They're close. But again, they're going to be under the table deals after that.
Yeah.
So something needs to be done about this right now. And I would say this. They need to pass this rule now. So if you want to be paid, you want the money, good. You have to sign a contract. You have to sign a 3-year contract, and you have to have a buyout. You want to be like the coaches and talk about how the coaches get to do it. Why can't us? Okay, good. Coaches have a buyout. They have a contract. Okay, so if you sign a 3-year contract, then you got to honor that 3-year contract. But if you want to go somewhere else, either you or the other team that you're going to has to buy your contract out. If you're going to get money, enough of this. I'll get $2 million here, and next year I'll go to this college. No, that's over. That's done. That needs to stop right now. And if the NCAA doesn't pass that, then I'm tired of this crap. And I think this is only the beginning of this is only tip of the iceberg. The only thing that might be good is that they're seeing what kind of a treatment that Nico's getting. And Jonathan, what do you think about him throwing his own father under the bus? Saying it's more of his father's fault for this.
Yeah, I thank Nico Iamaleava for setting the tone because truly now he's like radioactive. No program wants to bring him in. It's going to split the locker room right in half. He wanted $4 million.
Yeah.
$2.4 million wasn't good enough to be the starting quarterback at an SEC Tennessee Volunteer football team. So, look, props to Coach Heupel for saying thank you, but no thank you. Appreciate what you've done here, but it's time to move on as a program. That's exactly what had to be done. You cannot let these kids run the entire show. The inmates can't run the jail, so to speak. You got to have some type of precedent, or you lose the locker room. They will not respect you. I already paid a guy $2.4 million to play quarterback for a football team. But, yeah, now where's he going to end up? In Hammond, Louisiana? I'll guarantee they're not paying him $4 million to go play at Southeastern.
No question about that. LSU softball swept by Texas A&M. Boy, a tough weekend for LSU. 8th place right now. They're 8-7. They're 35-8 overall. They lost one game non-conference. The rest 8-7 in the SEC. It's crazy. Southern holding on to the 7th place spot. Should have swept Alcorn this weekend. The pitching has given up way too much. They need 8 teams to only make the tournament. 8 teams. They're on 7th place right now. They're second in batting. They can compete with anybody in the SWAC. They bat .315 on the year. As I told you off air, Cordell Thibodeau leads the SWAC at .478 batting average. That's second in the country.
Dang.
That guy is unbelievable. .478 batting. Southern is 11th in pitching, 10.86 ERA, 10.86. That'll get you killed against Mississippi State. They play tonight in Starkville, Mississippi. They surrendered 322 runs. That's 6th in the SWAC. 366 hits. That's 5th in the SWAC. Halfway through the SWAC season again, but unlike LSU, they got only one home series left as far as the SWAC goes. One. That's UAPB at the end of the month. Anissa Moreau picked 7th to the Connecticut Suns last night in the WNBA draft. And how good did Haley Van Lith look last night? She goes 11th to Chicago. She'll be with Angel Reese again playing with Chicago. So that ought to be big. All right, so talking sports with me. Hopefully LSU's got a better result next week. Until then, I'm Chris along with Jonathan and Marty. Catch you next week, everybody. Talking sports with me, Chris Powers on Pelican Sports.
Rocks and fires. Tommy White with it. Johnson heads to the ball.